Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If you're hearing my voice, you are in the right place. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Scorpio, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. Seven of Swords. I kind of feel like you're somebody who is trying to just live your life, and I feel that you don't want unsolicited advice. I feel like there are people around you that are just telling you what to do. Everywhere you look, somebody's telling you what you should buy or what you should believe or where you should go or how you should do something or why you should do this or that. And I feel like should is your least favorite word right now because you're trying to be on that central sword. You're somebody that knows what you want, you can make your own choices. I feel like there's a lot of other opinions. And you know what they say about opinions, right? You're someone who is trying not to get distracted by all of the other options that are out there, that all of the other paths that you could be taking. With the Seven of Swords, it's we're just trying to get to the top of the mountain. But we keep circling the base of the mountain looking for the right road up, the right path up to the top of the mountain. And I feel like, in your case, I feel like you know the road that you want to take. Okay, but there are other people, maybe in your party or your group or just around you, just in life generally, on the internet and advertising and marketing and stuff, trying to tell you that there's a different way, a better way, And I think you're trying to right now block out the noise. There is a difficulty here hearing your own inner truth, hearing your conscience, hearing your intuition, listening to your spirit, because there's too much noise in your life. We need a little bit less noise and more silence, more stillness. That's what I love about the cold weather. We're getting snow here in Minnesota, and the air gets more and more dry, and it gets cold, and it just feels like the world is quieter. And fall and winter have always been the seasons where I feel I can connect best with spirit and with my own soul and spirit and angels and spirit guides and that sort of thing. Because it just feels like there's just less frantic energy. And there's just, there's more opportunity for solitude. So let's put this into some context. What is it that you're trying to accomplish? Or what is your central truth here, that central Ace of Swords? What is your truth, your idea, your will, your mission that you feel is being opposed by others? There's the Three of Swords. And there's a Ten of Wands. There's a Knight of Wands. Ooh, 10 of Swords, okay. And an 8 of Pentacles, yeah. I feel that there is something, I feel like it's almost, there's some kind of a family thing going on for some of you. The Three of Swords to me is a promise. The Three of Swords is sorrow. Three of Swords is memory. Three of Swords is heartbreak, and it's the complexes. It's fear, right? Basically, it's a part of us that has been formed through fear, and I think that you are trying to go your own way in life and not feel pressured to play it safe, not feel pressured to kind of continue living someone else's life or going down someone else's road. I feel like you're not going to let fear stop you. Now, that Seven of Swords can also be criticism and self-doubt. You're being told to go through the fear. Get out of that birdcage of fear. Okay? Because fear, the Three of Swords, like I talk about, and I don't mean to go on a whole long rant about the Three of Swords, but Three of Swords is memory. This is saying, oh, you know what? I touched a hot stove when I was a kid, and now I know, don't touch a hot stove. It's very reasonable fear. It's a complex, though, right? It's not necessarily fear, but it's a complex. It's a portion of our consciousness that its only function is to say, hot stove, don't touch. Hot stove, don't touch. Now, we can override that, and you can force yourself to touch a hot stove. I don't recommend it. But instinctually now, we know I'm not going to touch it. So that's a very good function of the Three of Swords. It's responsible. We like that, right? It's helpful to us. But if we then say, I touched a hot stove when I was a kid, and therefore I'm never going to cook my food, I'm never going to heat my food, I'm never going to buy a stove, I'm staying away from anybody that even has a stove, I'm going to write newspaper articles and op-eds against the stove industry and all that kind of stuff, then that might be a little irrational. That might be an inappropriate functioning of this complex. And then it's not really serving our needs. Then it means well, little fella, but it's not helping us. And so that's something that we do need to override. And I think that you're getting out of this type of a birdcage in your life. This is a lot of air energy, but thankfully we see the dismantling of that fear complex, or the overriding of that fear. You're forcing yourself out of the birdcage. And I think it's going to be a glorious day. You know, this might be a little bit of like, I don't know if it's exposure therapy, but it's really just kind of like brute forcing this. I'm going to force myself to do the thing that's kind of scary, and I think you're going to grow a lot from that. Okay? Over here we have the Star, beautiful. We have the Four of Pentacles, the Nine of Cups, and of course we have the Death card, your superpower card, and the card of change, the card of evolution, the card of letting go of the past, the card of moving through fear. So all of that really does vibe and connect. Let's select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown, and we're going to set this one down right over here with our little Tibetan prayer wheel right there on top. We're not going to look at that card until the very end. It will tie everything together, and it will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any moment during this message you feel like you might know what that card might be, put your prediction in the comments right below the video. Now, as we look around the room, we see 1, 2 major arcana cards. Spirit is telling you your own soul can feel the need here. You're being led forward into a letting go of something. You're being told to move forward and let the past be the past. Okay, you're being told to evolve and to face your fear and to overcome that and to grow and to change. You're being told to change. Okay, the Star is leading the way. This is your general energy. You feel divinely connected. And that's the sort of result. So the 2 majors here are telling you to grow and evolve and change. And this is the next step your soul needs to take. We've got fire. This is the fire we're scared of. This is what's kind of that's what happened in the past that we're now trying to overcome, you know. That's created the complex. We got water over here. This is what we want, but what we're afraid we're not going to get. In other words, you're afraid you're going to get burned. Okay? I kind of feel like this is that the 3 of Swords is kind of like we're expecting to get burned again. We're not expecting this to be happy, joy, love, bliss, pleasure, and wish fulfillment. We're expecting to be disappointed or hurt or let down or, you know, whatever it might be. We got the fire anyway. A little bit of water. We got air, air, air. And we've got our earth cards. Nothing changes if nothing changes. Okay? So we've got to be that catalyst right now. And the 7 of Swords, just to sort of recap this card, it could be our thoughts are scattered right now. It could be that you're sort of avoiding doing something that you really know you need to do. And we're we're entertaining too many distractions rather than really focusing on what it is. Kind of sneaking around the truth here. But I think that avoidance is draining you. You got to be honest about what this is. And whether you've been just sort of like kind of living with that fear and just trying to adapt to it and trying to say, okay, well, I guess I gotta work around it. Okay. You got to clarify things a little bit, and don't listen to other people. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to anybody. What is your soul telling you? Okay? Because I feel like you're kind of dodging something. Yeah. But you also don't need to open yourself up to criticism. So this is something that I think is very personal to you. And I think it's, other people are going to obviously like be aware of what you're doing, but you're not trying to open yourself up to everyone else's criticism or everyone else's opinions. Okay, so maybe that it's something that's kind of close to the chest. You're not going to reveal it to everybody. You're going to post it publicly for everybody to provide their input on. You're not asking for other people's input. Okay, I think that you're trying to see the path forward for you, and you're trying to push through something that is rather frightening. I kind of feel like this is a push into a dark, scary forest for you. Okay, so this is about you really bringing that hidden fear or that hidden agenda or that complex, bringing it to light and committing to the course of action instead of kind of beating around the bush. We're circling the base of the mountain rather than just climbing up the top of that. Okay, when the self is divided, I feel like it's very difficult for us to accomplish anything. So we're going to stop scattering our energy. We're going to choose the honest move, and we're going to give it everything we've got. And this could be, again, that self-criticism, making excuses. It could be self-doubt. It could be self-consciousness. It could be that we want to do something that we know is going to be good for us. It's going to make us money, or it's going to I'm going to get stronger, or I'm going to feel better, or it's going to be good for me physically, financially, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, creatively. It's going to be good for you. But we don't really care to do it. We're self-conscious. We have a little bit of anxiety, perhaps. Okay. And that Three of Swords, like I said, this feels like it's kind of a promise. Because I feel like this is you saying, look, I see this fear, I recognize this, and I'm going to do it anyway. This is the truth. This is the truth. And this is this is the painful truth. This is the thing that is separating you from the growth and the change and the evolution and the harvest, the fruit that you're after. This is what's separating you. And this is something old. It's a complex again. It's just kind of like, I really want a hot meal, but I'm afraid of stoves, because I got burned on a stove once, and now I don't. Fear is, not always our friend. And I think sometimes that fear can be the irrational fear. Fear is kind of a, forget everything and run kind of complex. And I think that you're not running from this. You're facing this. Fear is false evidence appearing real. And you're recognizing that this fear is basically a memory of something. So the past results are no guarantee of the future sort of performance, So we can't base this current situation on what happened before. So I think that with this Three of Swords, this is you making that promise to yourself that's saying, I'm going to do this because that's good for me. And I know that I need it. Like it's your destiny to do it. Like you feel like this is your calling in life, but there's a hesitation, there's a fear. There's something that's holding us back. Okay. And I think we need to recognize what this is, and we need to sort of recognize where this is playing out, and then we can override the fear. And, well, sometimes that's just simply the 10 of Wands, putting the pedal to the metal and just doing it, you know. But this is also the card of, like, feeling overwhelmed about something. I feel like energetically overwhelmed. So it feels like anxiety, kind of, yeah. But it feels like we're just, the only way to really do it is to do it. The only way through it is to go through it. Facing that fear, because it is preventing you from really growing and getting the harvest, the 8 of Pentacles, from doing the thing that's going to give you so much benefit in life. You're going to earn money. You're going to get stronger. You're going to get in better shape. You're going to make new friends. You're going to get smarter. You're going to level up, like whatever it is. Doing this work, we don't want that fear to prevent us from doing that. But this feels like you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself. We feel, again, kind of emotionally or spiritually overwhelmed. And you're feeling the weight of this situation, and it feels heavy, and it feels kind of like it's closing in on us. And sometimes our fear like this can even give us psychosomatic symptoms. It can give us physical innervations. And like, I remember as a kid, I was very self-conscious about my ability to play kickball. And so every time it was kickball, I don't know why, I shouldn't be telling you this, but I was, I don't know, in 3rd grade probably, but it would be time for kickball, and I'd be so nervous about doing poorly at kickball that come recess time, come like, PE or kickball time, I would have this terrible knee pain. My knees, I can't do it. I can't play kickball today because my knee, I don't know why, my knees hurt so bad. And so I would just get to sit and watch the kickball game rather than playing the kickball game, which would have probably been very good for me to do. Eventually, I just started playing the kickball game, and I overcame that fear, and I actually started doing Little League, and so whatever. But the point is that we can sometimes feel physically incapable of doing something because of the fear, because of the anxiety. Okay. And so this might be something manifesting in your body right now where you kind of feel that there is like an ache or a pain or something like that. I mean, yeah, go to the doctor if you're concerned. But I think right now this is that awareness that something is sort of weighing heavily upon us. Okay. And I think that the only way through it is through it. Yeah, we have the Knight of Wands here in the background, which is that sort of leadership, the vision, the fiery will, and the initiative. Rallying your energy behind something and leaping into something, eager to move forward, making the leap ahead, initiating the project or the conversation or the change, or like jumping into something. Putting that vision or that impulse into practical activity. So I feel like this is a couple of things. I feel like this is that activity from long ago that you did and you got burned. I took a risk and I was embarrassed, or like, the first time I did kickball, I really was like, I fell down. I like really made a fool of myself and everybody laughed at me. And then the complex is formed, and that little, bless their heart, little fella, that complex in us that says, okay, kickball equals deep embarrassment and shame, and so that's a hot stove. We're not going to touch that one ever again. And yet here this thing is still lingering in your life, and it's preventing you from really just going forward and doing something that is really going to benefit you. I don't know what it is. I'm not going to pretend to know. You don't have to share it with anybody. The point is, this is a personal transformation that you're going through in your life, and you don't need to share it with anybody. You don't need to tell anybody about it. Maybe it's helpful, and if you think it will be helpful, find a friend, find a counselor, a therapist, or share it here at the community. It's fine. And sometimes talking about that kind of stuff helps to lessen the anxiety. Okay? But now there's something that wants you to leap into it again. It's like now you're getting hungry and you think, I want to cook with fire. I want to and maybe this is even something else. Maybe it's about, I know people that, they don't want to swim. They don't like pools of water. They'll swim in the ocean, but they won't swim in a swimming pool because they had a bad experience when they were kids. I know somebody that when they were kids, they choked on an orange. They started to choke on an orange, and obviously they were okay because they lived to tell the story. But since that moment, they basically had a phobia of oranges. Actually, all orange food. I've told this story before. My good elementary school friend George, rest in power, he's no longer with us. But for his whole childhood, he says, I'm allergic to orange food. I can't eat anything orange. Sweet potatoes, yams, carrots, nope. Even orange candy, no, I can't. I can't eat that. And that's sort of, he developed that, and he would have just a physical response, to something like that. And it was, anyway. But I feel like this is something now that's showing up in your life, and it wants you to overcome it. It wants you to face that and leap through this and do this and break that cage that it has around you with this Ten of Swords. Get out of that bird cage. Whatever it is. Okay? You can use my silly examples to explore it, but it's something that's holding you back. It's something that really does need to end. Okay? It's something that we need to release. It's not actually holding you back. It's a mental structure. Okay? It's a mental structure that once it collapses, it frees you to imagine life out there doing the thing that you feel this impulse to do. And not even an impulse to do it. I think you feel that it's the next necessary step in your spiritual evolution. This is the pivotal point. When this is done, what can begin? Because we see this Knight of Wands is still here in you, trying to get out, but we're locking it in a cage, and it's saying, let me out, let me out, let me out. Okay? Let it end. Because this collapse of this structure and this fear and this, the walls that we've built up around ourselves, this is freeing us. This is clearing the ground for something greater, something truer. Okay? And so we're acknowledging that this is a false evidence appearing real. This is forget everything and run kind of situation. And if once we recognize this, if we can we'll mentally overcome this. And this doesn't have to keep showing up. Because that Three of Swords is going to pop up every time you try to do the thing. It's going to pop up, and we're going to either get, I can't do it today, I've got a bad knee today, or we just happen to get sick every time it's our turn to give a presentation in class or at work, I just happen to get sick, Or I've got this really important meeting coming up, and I got a stomach thing, I can't go to work today. It's the old, the kid can't go to school, is sick in the morning, but they don't want to go to school. There's a bully at school. And it's not that they're not sick. The body actually can create those symptoms based on whatever that fear is. And I don't know that part of it is exactly happening for you, but I do feel like you're getting out of a bird cage. And the Eight of Pentacles is growth. It's refinement. It's you now doing the thing that you've been reluctant or hesitant or, scared maybe to do. This is you now being brave, and you're doing it. And you're being patient with yourself. You're starting slow, but you're doing it. You're refining that skill or that effort. Okay? This is the love for your future self that's expressed through this choice. You're going slow, you're doing it well, and you're allowing this part of you to grow and have its experience and develop itself. Okay? Fire to earth, The Knight of Wands, fire on fire to the earth of the Eight of Pentacles. So it is manifesting. Okay? And yeah, it could be, like we said with the Ten of Wands, could be the manifestation of the psychosomatic kind of bodily discomfort that we feel. But I feel like this is actually the growth and the evolution of you. Okay? It may be something physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, creative. And I feel like it's going to feel really good. I think it's going to feel very nice to get out of that birdcage. Now, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. It's a great way to support the channel, and of course, I really appreciate that. Your general energy is the Star card. I feel that this is a real, like, enlightenment. You know, I feel that you are, and that's what the star does, right? The star shines that divine light into our lives, into our souls, shows us what we need to look at. That's the first function of the star energy. If we let the light in, the light of that cosmic consciousness, it will show us where our blockages are, our sore spots, our weak spots, our triggers, our buttons, our knots of karma. It's exactly what the Three of Swords is. Spirit is showing you a knot of karma, a button or a trigger, because once you allow that light to come in and that awareness to take place, you can start consciously overriding that, button, dismantling that button or that trigger. And that activates phase 2 of the Star card, where the light starts to shine out from you, shows you your yellow brick road, shows you the destiny, the path that you're supposed to take. Because and what that's doing is it's refining you into a magician. That's what the tarot does. The tarot is just, every single reading is trying to teach you how to be a better magic maker. Okay? How to accomplish your goals, how to manifest your reality, all that good stuff. And this card, this energy, will show you things that you don't really want to look at. But once we do, we instantly become a little bit better at making magic. And you can see now the path before you, especially as we're looking from fire to earth, because that is the process of manifestation. You're trying to go from fire to earth, you're trying to manifest your will, but you're looking through the knots of karma. The shadows, the sore spots, the weak spots, the buttons, the triggers are getting in the way of you manifesting your will. So once we start clearing this stuff out, then we have a direct pathway to manifest. Okay? So this is what the star is showing you, that look, something is blocking your manifestations. And what's blocking your manifestations is the false evidence appearing real. Okay. So the star is that sense of destiny, that sense of, like, this is where your path is going to lead. And this is what you have to face if you want to continue on that yellow brick road pathway to your goals in life and the manifestations of your dreams. Now, in the environment, you have a Four of Pentacles. Things have been too small for you. There's a need here to expand. I think that this is too much control, too much routine. Things have been staying the same. And we need to let go. We need to open up. We need to allow something to move. There is change that is needed. Anytime we get a 4, right, we start looking around for the 5. So where do we need to grow? Where have we been just sort of getting comfortable or playing it safe with just the steady routines of life? Are we scared to go after that promotion? Are we scared to level up? What in us, what complex or fear, what false evidence appearing real has been blocking us or preventing us from leveling up? You're stepping outside the box. You're stepping outside just the habit of life. Okay? You're causing change. You're intentionally opening up the castle walls here. And you're venturing outside. There's safety, security, and stability here. why would we leave, you know? But this is too small, and we've outgrown this, and this is like we've been keeping ourselves limited where what we need to do is expand. This is safety, yeah, but it can also be isolation. It's boundaries, yeah, but it's limits. So something has been limiting you, preventing you from fulfilling your true potential and from expanding and growing. And well, that's exactly what the Eight of Pentacles is. This is a big apple tree, but you've got it in this little tiny planter box in your house, and it can't grow. We need to transplant this to a larger picture, you know, a larger environment. And of course, the Nine of Cups is happiness, so it's in the position of your fear, worry, concern. I think it's really the fear that, fear of failure, the fear of embarrassment, the fear of our wishes not coming true. Okay, this is happiness and contentment. This is emotional fulfillment. This is joy. This is the effort that you're putting in now is actually working. And you're feeling proud of this because you are healing, you're growing, and you're developing more stability. Okay? So you're doing the thing, and it actually feels good. It's bringing you abundance on every plane. It's bringing you superabundance. It has benefits on the physical and financial plane, yeah. But also the mental, emotional growth and the spiritual, creative expansion and abundance and growth as well. So this is something that is benefiting you in every dimension of your life. And I think the fear that we had, or the anxiety, the difficulty with this card because of the position that it's in, right? It's kind of our hope, but also our fear or our expectations, right? Is that this would be painful. This would not be a joy multiplier or a happiness multiplier, that we were sort of expecting this to be like a Nine of Swords. I'm expecting to play dodgeball and just get laughed at again. Or I'm kind of, extrapolating on that and saying I'm scared to do anything performative or anything like that because I'm just going to get laughed at again. So it's like I'm not even going to go and go to participate in the business meeting because I'm just going to get laughed at again. So we can see how just that one dodgeball day can affect our entire lives. Now I'm not gonna go and I can't do a good job at school because it's the same thing, or at work, or whatever other sort of maybe team things that you might get involved with, or group efforts, or things like this are going to suffer because that one day in dodgeball in third grade, and we're sort of anticipating everything to just be miserable, and that's the Three of Swords. Now we're expecting anything that even remotely has to do with a stove is going to hurt. It's going to burn me, But that's not reasonable. It's not rational. Yeah. You have also your Death card, because this old version of you, we're allowing it to rest now. That I don't know, that 8-year-old version of me that was had that bad experience at dodgeball where I don't even remember what happened. I think I missed the kick and fell, and everyone was laughing, something like that. I don't even remember, and that's the point too. That we don't even remember how exactly these complexes are formed, but we sure know that they're there. And this is us saying thank you very much, little fella, but you don't have to protect me anymore. I can let that old version of myself go because I've done that work. And this is what shadow work, this is what spiritual development work is really about. And it doesn't mean that you had a bad experience playing sports when you were a kid. That's not what I'm saying. But allowing ourselves to grow and move on and evolve past something like that, so that we can do the next phase of our work in life and continue on toward our goals. So Spirit is telling you that this is an opportunity for you to grow and expand, let something go, step through, into a new version of yourself, shed a skin. You're shedding, you're the scorpion, right? So you have that exoskeleton. And what do we do with the exoskeleton? We molt. We shed that protective layer. And it's just that raw, squishy, sensitive skin underneath that eventually is going to get hardened again into a new exoskeleton. But at first, it's just we get rid of that protective layer. And we do it. We take a risk. You are being bold and you are taking a risk right now. And you are changing yourself. You're changing your life. You're evolving. Let's look at the mystery card. Maybe an ace. Maybe a 5, to be honest with you. Either an ace or a 5, I would say. If you have a prediction, please put it in the comments. Let's see. Oh, yeah, of course it's the strength card. It's courage. It's courage. It's you putting yourself out there and saying, I deserve to be here. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care who laughs at me. I'm doing it. And of course, it takes courage. Like I said, the only way through it is through it. The only way to do it is to just do it. To just like get mad and get yourself all fired up and go and do the thing. Don't do it recklessly. Don't do it dangerously, but confront the fear, and allow yourself to believe that you deserve to be doing this. This is that desire. This is that life force. You're moving toward what feels really alive, and sometimes we get anxious in the face of something like this, and we need to channel that anxiety into courage and into excitement. Okay, because there's a desire that you haven't allowed yourself to go after because of that complex, that button, that trigger. And I think you're just sort of you're mustering your strength, you're mustering your confidence. And you're going to expand your energy. You're not shrinking the energy. You're leading here with your fire. I think this is the perfect confirmation card. Now we're going to do an extended reading. Please click on the link in the corner or the link in the video description. Subscribe to the channel, Scorpio, if you haven't yet. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you are the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we are all in this together.